No choice but one bed. And he was the Alpha King in disguise. Moonbound Tales. They say fate has a cruel sense of humor. Mine laughed the day I lost everything. My apartment, my dignity, my last shred of hope, and ended up in a freezing mountain cabin with a stranger who smelled like winter storms and buried secrets. One bed. That's all there was. And him. Tall. Silent. Eyes like molten silver that saw straight through my lies. I thought he was just some rude, arrogant man trying to survive the storm like me. I was wrong. He wasn't just a man. He was the man. The Alpha King. The most dangerous werewolf alive. And I was the one thing he was never supposed to find. His fated mate. This is the story of how one freezing night changed my life forever, and how I fell in love with a king who was never meant to love me back. Before we get started, tell me where you're listening from and what time it is in your part of the world. Are you hearing this under the midnight moon, or in the quiet of the afternoon? Drop it in the comments. Now, let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Worst Day of My Life. My name is Elira Moss, and 3 days ago, I had a life. A small one. A quiet one. But it was mine. I worked at a bakery in the human town of Coldridge, Montana, a tiny place tucked between mountains so tall they looked like they were holding up the sky. I lived in a studio apartment above the bakery. It wasn't much. The heater barely worked. The shower only ran hot for 4 minutes. But it was warm. It was safe. Until it wasn't. You're evicted. That's what my landlord said. Just like that. No warning. No mercy. Apparently, he'd sold the building to some developer, and I had 72 hours to get out. I begged. I cried. I offered to pay double rent. He didn't care. So there I was, on a freezing Tuesday morning in late November, standing on the sidewalk with 2 duffel bags, a dying phone, and $12 in my pocket. I had no family. My parents died when I was 16 in a car accident. No siblings. No boyfriend. My best friend, Sienna, had moved to California last year and barely texted anymore. I was completely alone. The cold bit through my thin jacket as I stood there, watching my breath fog in the air. Snow was starting to fall. Thick, heavy flakes that clung to my hair and eyelashes. I needed a plan. I pulled out my phone and opened a cheap motel app. The closest place was 30 miles away and cost $60 a night. I didn't have $60. I didn't even have 20. My chest tightened. Panic clawed at my throat. Don't cry. Don't you dare cry. I scrolled desperately through options. Shelters. Hostels. Anything. That's when I saw it. Emergency mountain refuge cabins, free for travelers in distress. It was a post on a community board. Someone had shared coordinates to a cluster of old hunting cabins deep in the mountains, maintained by the Forest Service. They weren't fancy, but they had roofs, fireplaces, and cots. It was my only option. I grabbed my bags and started walking toward the edge of town, toward the trailhead that led up into the mountains. The hike took 4 hours. By the time I reached the cabins, my fingers were numb, my legs were shaking, and my lungs burned from the cold. There were 3 cabins total, scattered along a clearing surrounded by towering pines. Smoke curled from the chimney of the middle one. Someone was already here. My heart sank. I approached slowly, boots crunching in the snow. The door was slightly ajar. I knocked. No answer. Hello? My voice cracked. I saw the post online. I need a place to stay. Just for tonight. Still nothing. I pushed the door open. The inside was dim, lit only by a crackling fire in the stone fireplace. The cabin was small. 1 room with a wooden table, 2 chairs, a tiny kitchenette, and my stomach dropped. 1 bed, a single, narrow bed pushed against the far wall, and sitting on the edge of it, pulling off his boots, was a man. He looked up. Our eyes met, and the world stopped. He was the most beautiful man I'd ever seen. Tall, easily 6'4". Broad shoulders, strong arms, dark hair that fell messily across his forehead. His eyes were pale silver, almost glowing in the firelight. But it wasn't his looks that froze me in place. It was the way he looked at me. Like he knew me. Like he'd been waiting for me. "You're late," he said, his voice low and rough, like gravel and smoke. I blinked. What? He stood, slowly, like a predator stretching after a nap. I said, "You're late." I don't know you." His lips twitched, almost a smile, but not quite. "Not yet." My pulse hammered. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs wouldn't move. "There are other cabins," I stammered. "They're locked," he interrupted. "This is the only one open." "Then I'll find somewhere else." "There is nowhere else." He took a step closer. "Storm's coming. You won't make it back down the mountain." I looked toward the window. He was right. The snow was falling harder now. The wind howled through the trees. I was trapped. With him. "Fine," I said, voice shaking. "I'll sleep on the floor." He raised an eyebrow. "The floor's freezing. You'll be dead by morning." "Then what do you suggest?" He glanced at the bed. My heart stopped. "No," I said immediately. "Absolutely not." "Relax," he said, turning back toward the fire. "I don't bite." I didn't believe him, but I also didn't have a choice. The hours crawled by. I sat at the table, arms crossed, refusing to look at him. He sat by the fire, sharpening a knife with slow, deliberate strokes. The silence was suffocating. "What's your name?" he asked suddenly. I hesitated. "Elira." "Elira," he repeated like he was tasting it. "Pretty." I ignored that. "What's yours?" He paused. "Kael." "Kael what?" "Just Kael." Suspicious, but I was too tired to push. "Why are you here?" I asked. "Same reason as you. Needed a place to stay." "You don't look like someone who needs help." He smiled then. A real one. And it was devastating. Looks can be deceiving, Elira. By midnight, I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. Kael was already lying on one side of the bed, fully clothed, staring at the ceiling. I approached slowly, like I was approaching a wild animal. "Stay on your side," I warned. "Wouldn't dream of crossing it," he murmured. I lay down as far from him as possible, curled into a tight ball. The bed was warm. Too warm. And he smelled incredible, like pine and rain and something wild I couldn't name. I closed my eyes, and then I felt it. A pull, like an invisible thread tying my chest to his. My breath hitched. "What is this?" I whispered. Kael was silent for a long moment. Then, in a voice so quiet I almost missed it, he said, "Fate." I woke to the sound of growling. Not human growling. Animal growling. My eyes flew open. Kael was standing by the window, body tense, eyes glowing, actually glowing silver. "Stay in the bed," he ordered. "What's happening?" "Stay in the bed." The door burst open. 3 massive wolves stood in the doorway, teeth bared, eyes burning gold. "And Kael?" Kael smiled. "Took you long enough," he said. Then he shifted. Chapter 2. The truth in his eyes. I screamed. I couldn't help it. 1 second, Kael was standing there, tall, human, terrifyingly calm. The next, his body exploded into fur, muscle, and raw power. He was a wolf. No, not just a wolf. He was enormous. Bigger than a grizzly. His fur was midnight black, streaked with silver that shimmered in the firelight. His eyes, those same pale silver eyes, now burned with something ancient and deadly. And he was standing between me and the 3 wolves in the doorway. I pressed myself against the headboard, heart hammering so hard I thought it would burst. The lead wolf snarled, lips curling back to reveal fangs the size of daggers. Kael, the wolf that used to be Kael, didn't flinch. He growled. It wasn't just a sound. It was a command. Deep. Primal. It rattled my bones. The 3 wolves hesitated. Then slowly, they lowered their heads. They submitted. What the hell was happening? Kael shifted back. It was just as terrifying in reverse. Bones cracking, fur melting away, until he stood there again, human, shirtless, breathing hard. He didn't look at me. "Get out," he said to the wolves. They didn't move. I said, "Get out." This time they obeyed. They turned and disappeared into the storm. Kael slammed the door shut and locked it. Silence. My ears were ringing. My hands were shaking. I couldn't form words. "You're a werewolf," he finished. "Yeah." I stared at him. He stared back. "Say something," he muttered. "You're a werewolf. We've established that. And those things, also werewolves. Why were they here?" He hesitated. For the first time I saw something flicker across his face. Fear. "Because they're looking for me." "Why?" He turned away, running a hand through his hair. "It's complicated." "Complicated?" I laughed. It sounded hysterical. "You just turned into a giant wolf in front of me. You owe me more than it's complicated." He spun around, eyes blazing. "You want the truth, Elira? Fine, I'm not just some random werewolf. I'm the Alpha King. I rule over every pack in North America. And those wolves? They're assassins sent by someone who wants me dead." I felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. "You're a king." "Was," he corrected bitterly. "I walked away." "Why?" "Because I was tired of being a weapon. Tired of wars. Tired of watching people I love die for power I never wanted." His voice cracked on the last word. I didn't know what to say. "And now," he continued, voice flat, "they've found me. Which means you're in danger too." "Me? Why me?" He looked at me then. Really looked at me. "Because you're my mate." The words hung in the air like smoke. I laughed. I couldn't help it. "Your mate? Like soulmates? That's insane." "It's not insane. It's biology. Werewolves have fated mates. One person in the entire world who's meant for them. And you," he stepped closer, "you're mine." "No." I shook my head. "No, I'm not. I'm human. I don't even believe in this stuff. Doesn't matter if you believe it. The bond is real. I felt it the second you walked through that door. That's just attraction. Chemistry. It's not just attraction, Elira." His voice softened. "It's deeper than that. It's why your heart is racing right now. Why you feel safe even though you should be terrified. Why you didn't run when you saw me shift." He was right. I should have run, but I didn't. Because some insane part of me trusted him. "This is crazy," I whispered. "I know. I don't want this. Neither do I." That surprised me. "You don't?" He looked away. "I left that world for a reason. Taking a mate means going back. It means war. It means putting you in danger. And I won't do that." "Then what do we do?" "We survive the storm. Then you leave. You forget you ever met me. And the bond? We ignore it. Can we do that?" He didn't answer. The rest of the night was unbearable. We didn't sleep. We sat on opposite sides of the cabin, avoiding each other's eyes. But the pull was still there. Like a rope tied around my ribs, tugging me toward him. I hated it. I hated that my body wanted to be near him. That I kept glancing at him. That every time he moved, I noticed. This wasn't me. I didn't fall for strangers. I didn't believe in fate. But God, he was making it hard. By dawn, the storm had passed. Kael stood by the door, arms crossed. "You should go." I grabbed my bags. "Yeah, I should." Neither of us moved. "Elira?" I looked at him. His jaw was tight. His eyes were conflicted. "Be careful out there. If they find out about you, they won't. They will. The bond leaves a scent. They'll track you." My blood ran cold. What do I do? "Stay off their radar. Don't go back to Coldridge. Find somewhere new. Somewhere far." "I don't have anywhere to go." He exhaled slowly. Then he reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. "There's a town 3 hours south, Pine Haven. Ask for a woman named Marin. Tell her I sent you. She'll help." I took the paper. Our fingers brushed. The bond flared. We both pulled back like we'd been burned. "Go," he said, voice rough. "Now." I nodded, and I walked out the door. I made it 50 feet before I heard the howl. It was distant, but getting closer. They were coming back. I started running. Chapter 3. The Hunter and the Hunted. I didn't stop running until my lungs screamed for air. The forest was a blur of white and green. Snow crunched under my boots. Branches whipped at my face. My duffel bag slammed against my sides with every step. Behind me, the howls grew louder. Closer. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. I didn't know where I was going. The trail had disappeared under fresh snow. Everything looked the same. Trees, rocks, endless white. I was lost. And they were hunting me. A snarl erupted from my left. I screamed and dove behind a tree. A massive gray wolf burst through the underbrush, teeth bared, eyes locked on me. I scrambled backward, slipping on ice. The wolf crouched, ready to pounce, and then it exploded sideways. Kael. He slammed into the gray wolf with the force of a freight train. They rolled, a tangle of fur and fangs, snow flying everywhere. Kael's jaws clamped down on the other wolf's throat. The gray wolf yelped and went limp. Kael shifted back, breathing hard, blood on his mouth. "I told you to run," he growled. "I was running. Not fast enough." Another howl, this one right behind us. Kael grabbed my arm. "Move, now." We ran. He led me deeper into the forest, moving faster than I thought possible. My legs burned. My chest ached. But I didn't stop. Finally, we reached a rocky outcrop with a narrow cave entrance. "Inside," Kael ordered. I didn't argue. The cave was small, dark, and freezing. But it was hidden. Kael crouched at the entrance, eyes scanning the trees. "How many are there?" I whispered. 6. Maybe more. "Why are they doing this?" "Because if they kill me, the throne is up for grabs. And if they take you," his jaw clenched, "they'll use you to control me. I don't understand. Why would they think I matter to you? We just met." He looked at me. Really looked at me. The bond doesn't care how long we've known each other. It just is. And they can smell it on you. They know you're mine. I'm not yours. Tell that to them. We stayed in the cave for hours. Kael kept watch. I sat in the back, shivering, trying to process everything. Werewolves, mates, kings, assassins. 24 hours ago, my biggest problem was losing my apartment. Now I was hiding in a cave from wolves who wanted to kill me. "This is insane," I muttered. "Yeah," Kael agreed. "It is." "Why did you come back for me?" He didn't answer right away. "I don't know," he finally said. "You could have let me go. Let them take me. It would have solved your problem." "No." His voice was hard. "It wouldn't." "Why?" He turned to face me, eyes blazing. "Because the thought of them touching you makes me want to rip the world apart." My breath caught. He looked away, jaw tight. "The bond is stronger than I thought." "Can we break it?" "No." "Are you sure?" "Yes." Silence. "So what do we do?" I asked. "We survive." By nightfall, the howls had stopped. Kael finally relaxed. "They've moved on, for now." "How long do we have?" "A day, maybe 2. They'll regroup and come back with more." "So we run. We run." He stood and offered me his hand. I hesitated. Then I took it. The bond hummed between us, warm and electric. He pulled me to my feet and didn't let go. We stood there inches apart, his hand wrapped around mine. "Elira." "Don't," I whispered. "Don't say it." "Say what?" "Whatever you're about to say. Don't." Because if he said it, if he admitted what I already felt, I wouldn't be able to walk away. and I had to walk away. He nodded slowly. Okay. But he still didn't let go of my hand. We walked through the night. Kael led the way, moving silently through the forest. I followed, exhausted but determined. By dawn, we reached a road, a single, narrow highway cutting through the mountains. Pinehaven is south, Kael said. Follow this road for 3 miles. You'll see signs. I stared at him. You're not coming. No. Why? Because if I stay with you, they'll never stop hunting you. But if I lead them away, he trailed off. You'll die. Maybe. Kael, go, Elira. His voice was firm. Final. Find Maren. She'll keep you safe. What about you? I'll be fine. You're lying. He smiled, sad, broken. Yeah, I am. Tears burned my eyes. I don't even know you. I know. But I don't want you to die. I know that too. He reached up and brushed a tear from my cheek. You're gonna be okay, he whispered. You're stronger than you think. And then he turned and walked back into the forest. I wanted to scream, to run after him, to beg him to stay. But I didn't, because he was right. If I stayed, we'd both die. So I turned south, and I walked away from the only person who'd ever made me feel like I mattered. Chapter 4. The town that knew too much. Pinehaven wasn't on any map. I only found it because a truck driver took pity on me when he saw me limping down the highway, half frozen and barely conscious. You look like hell, kid, he'd said, pulling over. I didn't argue. He drove me 20 miles south, dropped me at a fork in the road where a hand-painted sign read, Pinehaven, 2 miles. You sure this is where you want to go? He asked, eyeing the narrow dirt road that disappeared into the trees. Yeah, I lied. I'm sure. He shrugged. Good luck. And then he was gone. I stood there alone again, staring at the sign. Ask for Maren, Kael had said. I didn't know who Maren was. Didn't know if she'd even help me, but I had nowhere else to go. So I started walking. Pinehaven was strange. It wasn't like Coldridge with its tourists and ski lodges and coffee shops. This place was quiet. Too quiet. The buildings were old, wooden cabins and stone cottages with smoke curling from their chimneys. The streets were empty, except for a few people who watched me as I passed. And I mean watched, like they knew I didn't belong. I pulled my jacket tighter and kept walking. At the center of town was a small general store. The sign above the door read, Maren's Mercantile. My heart skipped. I pushed the door open. A bell chimed. The inside smelled like herbs, candle wax, and old wood. Shelves lined the walls, packed with jars, bottles, dried plants, and things I couldn't identify. Behind the counter stood a woman. She was older, maybe 50, with silver-streaked black hair pulled into a braid. Her eyes were sharp, intelligent. And the second they landed on me, they knew. You're her, she said. I froze. What? Kael's mate. She said it like it was a fact, not a question. How did you... I can smell him on you. She stepped around the counter, studying me. Faint. But there. You've been marked by the bond. I took a step back. Are you one of them? A werewolf? She smiled. No, child. I'm human. But I've lived among wolves long enough to know their scent. Kael sent me. He said you'd help. Her expression softened. Of course I'll help. That boy has saved my life more times than I can count. She gestured toward a door at the back. Come, you look half dead. I followed her into a small room with a cot, a wood stove, and a table. Sit, she ordered. I sat. She poured me tea, something warm and sweet that tasted like honey and cinnamon. I drank it greedily. How long have you known Kael? I asked. 10 years. He came here after he left the throne, needed a place to disappear. I gave him one. He said he walked away. Why? Maren's face darkened. Because the crown broke him. Being Alpha King isn't just about power, Elira. It's about sacrifice. About making choices no one should have to make. Kael lost everyone he loved to that throne. His parents, his brother, his best friend, all dead because of pack politics and power struggles. My chest tightened. He didn't tell me that. He wouldn't. Kael doesn't talk about pain. He buries it. I stared into my tea. He stayed behind, to lead them away from me. Maren closed her eyes. Of course he did. Do you think he's still alive? She didn't answer right away. Kael is strong, she finally said. Stronger than most. But he's also been running for a long time. And even the strongest wolves get tired. Tears pricked my eyes. I barely know him. I shouldn't care this much. The bond doesn't care how long you've known each other. That's what he said. Maren reached across the table and took my hand. You're connected now, Elira, whether you like it or not. And if he's still alive, he'll come back for you. What if he doesn't? Then you survive anyway. I stayed in Pine Haven for 3 days. Maren gave me the room above the store, fed me, let me rest, but I couldn't relax. Every howl in the distance made me jump. Every creak of the floorboards sent my heart racing. I kept waiting for them to find me. On the 3rd night, Maren came upstairs with a strange look on her face. There's someone here to see you. My stomach dropped. Who? A wolf, but not one of the hunters. I followed her downstairs. Standing in the store was a young woman, maybe my age, with auburn hair and bright green eyes. She was dressed in jeans and a leather jacket, and she looked nervous. Elira? She asked. I nodded. She exhaled in relief. Thank God, I'm Senna. I'm part of Kael's old pack. His pack? I thought he left. He did, but some of us never stopped being loyal to him. She glanced at Maren. Can we talk? Privately? Maren nodded and disappeared into the back. Senna turned to me, eyes serious. Kael's alive. My heart leapt. He is? Barely. He's been leading the hunters on a chase for days. He's hurt, exhausted. But he won't stop until he knows you're safe. Where is he? Hiding in the northern mountains, but the hunters are closing in. He won't last much longer. Then we have to help him. Senna shook her head. He doesn't want help. He wants you gone, out of the territory, somewhere they can't find you. I'm not leaving him. Elira, I said I'm not leaving. My voice was firm, final. Senna studied me. Then she smiled. You really are his mate. What does that mean? It means you're just as stubborn as he is. She took me to him that night. We drove for 2 hours into the mountains, then hiked another hour on foot. By the time we reached the cave where Kael was hiding, I was shaking. Not from cold, but from fear. What if he's angry? What if he sends me away? Senna ducked into the cave first. Kael, I brought someone. I told you not to. He stopped, because I stepped into the firelight, and our eyes met. He looked terrible. There was dried blood on his shirt, a gash across his ribs. His face was pale, his eyes shadowed with exhaustion. But when he saw me, something shifted. Relief, anger, fear, all at once. What the hell are you doing here? He rasped. Saving you, I said. I don't need saving. You're bleeding, Kael. I'm fine. You're dying. He looked away. You shouldn't have come. I crossed the cave and knelt in front of him. Too bad. I'm here. Elira, stop. I placed my hand over his. Stop pushing me away. He stared at me, at our hands. If they find you here, then we fight. You don't know how to fight. Then you teach me. He laughed. It was broken. Bitter. You're insane. So are you. Silence. Then quietly. Why did you come back? I met his eyes. Because I couldn't leave you. Something cracked in his expression. Elira, I know this is crazy. I know we just met. I know this bond is something I don't understand. But I feel it, Kael. And I think you do too. He closed his eyes. I do. Then stop running from it. I can't. Why? Because everyone I've ever loved has died because of me. His voice broke on the last word, and my heart shattered. Chapter 5. The Alpha's Burden. I didn't let go of his hand, even when he tried to pull away, even when his jaw clenched and his eyes burned with something between rage and grief. I held on. "Tell me," I whispered. "Tell me what happened." "Elira, you said everyone you loved died because of you. Tell me why." He was silent for a long time. Then, finally, he spoke. "I was 22 when I became Alpha King. My father was murdered by a rival pack leader. My mother died defending him. I was supposed to be next in line, but I was young, unprepared. Half the packs didn't respect me. They saw me as weak." His voice was flat, detached, like he was reading from a script. "My brother Torin was supposed to help me. He was my second in command, my best friend. We were going to rebuild the kingdom together, make it better, safer." He paused. His breathing was uneven. There was an ambush, a meeting that was supposed to be peaceful. It wasn't. They killed 12 of our wolves in the first 30 seconds. Torin threw himself in front of me, took a blade meant for my heart. His voice cracked. He died in my arms, and I couldn't save him. Tears blurred my vision. Kael. After that, I became exactly what they wanted. Ruthless, brutal. I crushed every pack that opposed me. I didn't just win battles, I annihilated them. I thought if I was strong enough, cruel enough, no one would ever hurt my people again. He laughed bitterly. But it didn't work. It just made things worse. More enemies, more bloodshed. And then I met Lyra. My stomach twisted. Who was she? A healer. She wasn't a wolf. She was human. Like you. He looked at me. She was kind, gentle, everything I wasn't. And somehow she saw something in me worth saving. Were you in love with her? Yeah, I was. He swallowed hard. But she wasn't my fated mate. I didn't have one. Or at least I thought I didn't. So I stayed with her anyway. I thought maybe I could have something good. Something pure. What happened? They killed her. His voice turned cold. A pack that wanted to hurt me figured out she was the one thing I cared about. They took her, tortured her, sent me pieces of her clothing soaked in blood. By the time I found her, it was too late. I pressed my hand to my mouth, fighting back sobs. I slaughtered everyone involved, Kael continued. Every single one. And when it was over, I looked at what I'd become and I realized I was a monster. The crown had turned me into the very thing I swore I'd never be. He turned away, so I walked away, left the throne empty, disappeared. I thought if I was gone, the killing would stop. Did it? No, it just gave them something new to fight over. The throne. And now they want you dead. Yeah, I wiped my eyes. Kael, none of that was your fault, wasn't it? No, you were trying to protect people. You were trying to survive. I failed. You didn't fail. You're still here. He looked at me, eyes raw. I don't deserve to be. Yes, you do. Elira, you deserve to be here. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have someone who won't leave you. I can't ask that of you. You're not asking. I'm offering. He stared at me like I was something impossible, something he didn't dare believe in. Why? He whispered. Why would you do this? Because you came back for me. Because you've been protecting me from the start. Because even though you're terrified of losing me, you haven't pushed me away. I tried. You failed. A broken laugh escaped him. Yeah, I did. I reached up and cupped his face. I don't know what this bond is. I don't know if it's magic or biology or fate. But I know how I feel when I'm near you. And I'm not running from it anymore. His eyes searched mine. If you stay, they'll come for you. They'll hurt you to get to me. Then we fight them. Together. You don't know how to fight. Then teach me. Elira. I kissed him. I didn't think. I just did it. His lips were warm. Soft. And for one perfect second the world disappeared. Then he pulled back, breathing hard. We can't, he said. Why? Because if I let myself love you, I won't survive losing you. Then don't lose me. He closed his eyes. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. Elira. A howl split the night. We both froze. Senna burst into the cave. They found us. We have to move. Now. Kael was on his feet instantly, despite his injuries. How many? He asked. 8, maybe more. Senna's eyes were wide. They're surrounding us. Where's the closest exit? East Ridge, but it's steep. She'll never make it. Yes, I will, I said. Kael looked at me. Can you run? Yes. Then stay close. Don't stop, no matter what. Senna shifted into her wolf form, a sleek, rust-colored creature with intelligent eyes. Kael grabbed my hand. Let's go. We ran. The forest was chaos. Howls echoed from every direction. Shadows moved between the trees. Wolves closing in. Kael led us through the darkness, moving faster than I thought possible. Senna flanked us, snarling at anything that got too close. My lungs burned. My legs screamed. But I didn't stop. A massive black wolf lunged from the left. Kael shifted mid-run and tackled it. They rolled, a blur of fangs and fury. Elira, keep going, Senna barked. I'm not leaving him. You have to. Kael ripped the wolf's throat out and shifted back. Go! Another wolf appeared, then another. We were surrounded. Kael stepped in front of me, eyes blazing. You want her? You go through me. The largest wolf, a scarred gray beast, stepped forward. It shifted. Into a man. Tall, brutal-looking, with a smile that made my skin crawl. Hello, Kael, he said. Miss me? Kael's entire body went rigid. Darius. Surprised? Darius grinned. You thought you could just walk away? Abandon the throne? Abandon us? I owe you nothing. You owe us everything. You're the king, whether you like it or not. I'm not your king anymore. Then you're a traitor. Darius's eyes slid to me. And she's leverage, Kael growled. Touch her, and I'll rip you apart. I'm counting on it. Darius shifted, and lunged, Chapter 6. Blood and bone. Everything happened at once. Darius lunged. Kael shifted and met him mid-air. They collided with a sound like thunder, bone against bone, fang against fang. The other wolves closed in. Senna threw herself at the nearest one, teeth flashing. I stood frozen, heart hammering, watching the only man I'd ever cared about fight for his life. Do something. Do something! I scanned the ground. Rocks, branches, nothing useful. Then I saw it. A thick, broken tree limb, sharp at one end. I grabbed it. A wolf broke through Senna's defense and charged straight at me. I didn't think. I swung. The branch connected with the side of its head. Hard. The wolf yelped and stumbled. I swung again. And again. It backed off, snarling. Elira! Kael's voice was raw. Get out of here. Not without you. Darius had him pinned. Blood streaked Kael's fur. He was weakening. No. No, 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 no. Rage exploded through me. I didn't know where it came from. Didn't know what it was. But it felt like fire. I screamed and charged at Darius. I swung the branch like a bat and cracked it across his skull. Darius yelped and released Kael. He turned on me, eyes blazing gold. Oh God, what did I just do? He shifted, human again. Blood dripping from a gash above his eye. You little... Kael slammed into him from the side. They went down hard. Kael shifted back, straddling Darius, fist raised. She's not yours. Every word was punctuated by a blow. Darius laughed, blood on his teeth. "She will be. When you're dead." Kael's eyes turned pure silver. "I'm not dying today." He grabbed Darius by the throat and squeezed. I looked away. I heard the crack. Then silence. When I looked back, Darius's body lay motionless on the ground. The other wolves had stopped fighting. They stared at Kael. He stood slowly, breathing hard, covered in blood. "Anyone else?" His voice was deadly calm. No one moved. I didn't think so. He looked at each of them. "Go back to whoever sent you. Tell them the Alpha King is done running. And if they come for me, or her, again, I won't be merciful." One by one, the wolves turned and disappeared into the forest. The second they were gone, Kael collapsed. "Kael!" I ran to him. Senna shifted back. "He's losing too much blood." "What do we do?" "We get him to Marin. Now." We half carried, half dragged him back to Pine Haven. By the time we reached Marin's shop, the sun was rising, and Kael was barely conscious. Marin took one look at him and started barking orders. "Get him on the table! Senna, boil water! Elira, hold him down!" "What?" "He's going to fight when I stitch him. Hold him down." I pressed my hands against his shoulders. Kael's eyes fluttered open. "Elira, I'm here. I'm right here. Did they hurt you?" "No, you saved me." "Good." His eyes closed. "That's good." Marin worked fast, stitching wounds, cleaning blood, wrapping bandages. Every time she pushed a needle through his skin, he flinched. But he didn't scream. When it was finally over, Marin stepped back. "He'll live, but he needs rest. Real rest." "How long?" "A week, maybe 2. "We don't have 2 weeks. They'll come back." "Then you'd better figure out a plan." Kael slept for 16 hours straight. I stayed by his side the entire time. Senna tried to get me to eat, to rest, but I couldn't. Not until I knew he was okay. When he finally woke, the first thing he did was look for me. "Elira?" "I'm here." Relief flooded his face. "You're safe." "So are you." He tried to sit up and winced. "What happened?" "You killed Darius, scared off the rest, and then you passed out." "Oh," he blinked. "Did I say anything embarrassing?" I laughed. It felt good. "You asked if I was hurt. That's not embarrassing." "It was sweet." He looked away. "I'm not sweet. You are to me." Silence. Then quietly. "You shouldn't have stayed." "I know. You should have run." "I know. But you didn't." "No." He met my eyes. "Why?" I took his hand. "Because running would have hurt more than staying." Something shifted in his expression. "Elira, I can't keep pretending I don't feel this." "Then don't. But if I accept it, if I accept you, I'm putting you in danger. Forever. I'm already in danger. It'll get worse. I don't care. You should. Kael." I squeezed his hand. "I'm not Lyra. I'm not going to break. I'm not going to run. And I'm not going to let you carry this alone anymore." His eyes glistened. "You're too stubborn." "You're one to talk." He smiled. A real smile. "Yeah, I guess I am." He reached up and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. "If we do this, if we accept the bond, there's no going back." "I know. You'll be marked, bound to me. Forever." "I know. You'll be a target." No." He studied my face. "You're sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." He exhaled slowly. "Okay. Okay. Okay." He pulled me closer. "Let's do this, together." And then he kissed me. Not like the first time, desperate and afraid. This time it was slow, deep, like a promise. When we pulled apart, I felt it. The bond. It wasn't invisible anymore. It was alive, glowing, wrapping around us like golden thread. "Do you feel that?" I whispered. "Yeah," he breathed. I do. And for the first time since I met him, Kael looked at peace. Chapter 7, The Mark of the Mate. The bond changed everything. It wasn't just a feeling anymore. It was physical. I could sense Kael's emotions, his pain, his relief, his buried fear. And he could sense mine. When he hurt, I hurt. When I was scared, he knew. It was overwhelming. Beautiful. Terrifying. Is it always like this? I asked. We were sitting outside Marin's shop, watching the sun set over the mountains. Kael's arm was wrapped around me, and I was curled into his side. I don't know, he admitted. I've never had a mate before. So we're both figuring this out. Yeah. I tilted my head to look at him. Are you scared? Terrified. Me too. He pressed a kiss to the top of my head. We'll figure it out. Together. Together. But peace didn't last long. 2 days later, Senna came back with news. They're gathering, she said, pacing Marin's shop. Every pack in the Northern Territory. They're planning an attack. Kael's jaw tightened. How many? At least 50 wolves, maybe more. I felt sick. 50? They want the throne back, Senna continued, and they want Kael dead. Or back in power. They're split on which. So they're coming here? Yes. Marin crossed her arms. Then we fortify. Set traps. Call in every ally we have. We don't have allies, Kael said flatly. I made sure of that when I left. Then we run. I'm done running. Kael. No. He stood, eyes blazing. I've been running for 5 years, hiding, pretending I'm not who I am. And where did it get me? They found me anyway. They almost killed Elira. They'll keep coming until I'm dead, or until I take back what's mine. What are you saying? I asked. He looked at me. I'm saying it's time to go home. Home was the capital of the Wolf Kingdom, a place called Silver Peak. It sat deep in the Rockies, hidden from human eyes by ancient magic and geographic isolation. It's beautiful, Senna said, and brutal. We were in Marin's back room, planning. Kael spread a hand-drawn map across the table. The throne sits here, he pointed. In the Great Hall. Whoever controls it controls the packs. And right now? I asked. Right now it's a free-for-all. Different packs are fighting for dominance. It's chaos. So we just walk in and take it? No, we fight for it. My stomach dropped. Fight how? There's an old law. If a deposed king returns and issues a challenge, the packs have to honor it. It's called the right of reclamation. And if you win, I take back the throne. And if you lose, he didn't answer. Kael, if I lose, I die. The room went silent. No, I said. Absolutely not. Elira, you're not doing this. It's suicide. It's the only way. There has to be another. There isn't. His voice was firm. If I don't do this, they'll keep hunting us. Forever. You'll never be safe. I don't care about being safe. I care about you being alive. And I care about you having a life. He cupped my face. A real life. Not one spent running and hiding. Tears burned my eyes. I don't want a life without you in it. Then help me win. How? He smiled, sad, determined. By being my mate, my queen, my reason to fight. We left for Silver Peak the next morning. Marin packed us supplies. Senna gathered what remained of Kael's loyal wolves. 6 total. 6 against 50, I muttered. We've survived worse, Senna said. Have we? No, but we'll survive this too. I wasn't so sure. The journey took 3 days. We traveled mostly at night, avoiding roads and settlements. Kael was quiet, focused, his mind already on the fight ahead. But at night, when we made camp, he held me close. Are you scared? I whispered. Yes. What if you don't win? I will. But what if... Elira... He turned me to face him. I've spent 5 years being afraid, Afraid of failing. Afraid of losing people. Afraid of being the monster they made me. But I'm not afraid anymore. Why? Because I have something worth fighting for now. He kissed me, slow, deep, and I realized something. I wasn't afraid anymore either. On the third night, we reached Silver Peak. It was breathtaking. The city was carved into the mountainside. Stone buildings, wooden bridges, waterfalls cascading through the center. And at the top, towering over everything, was the Great Hall. It looked like a fortress. Ancient, powerful. That's where the throne is, Kael said. It's huge. It was built to intimidate. It's working, he smiled. Come on, we don't have much time. We entered the city under the cover of darkness. Kael's wolves flanked us, silent and alert. The streets were empty, but I could feel eyes watching us. They know we're here, Senna whispered. Good, Kael said. Let them. We reached the Great Hall just before midnight. The doors were open. Inside, the hall was packed. Wolves in human form, hundreds of them, filled the space. They turned as we entered. Silence fell. Kael stepped forward, and the crowd parted. At the far end of the hall, sitting on a throne made of stone and bone, was a man. He was older, scarred, with cold, calculating eyes. Well, well, he drawled. The lost king returns. Kael's voice was steady. I'm here to reclaim what's mine. The man smiled. Then you'll have to take it from me. I intend to. The hall erupted in noise, shouts, howls, challenges. The man stood. Very well, Kael Thornheart. I, Ragnar Steele, accept your challenge. We fight at dawn. Winner takes the throne. He looked at me, and the mate. My blood ran cold, Kael growled. She's not part of the bargain. Oh, but she is. If you lose, she belongs to me. Over my dead body. That's the idea. Kael lunged. Senna and the others held him back. Ragnar laughed. Save your strength, boy. You'll need it. And then he walked out. Chapter 8. The King's Challenge. Dawn came too fast. I didn't sleep. Neither did Kael. We sat in a small room off the Great Hall, waiting. His wolves stood guard outside. Senna paced. Maren, who'd insisted on coming, was sharpening a knife. You don't have to do this, I said for the 100th time. Yes, I do. Kael. Elira. He took my hands. I know you're scared. I'm scared too. But this is the only way. What if you lose? I won't. But what if? He kissed my forehead. Then you run. You leave this place and never look back. I'm not leaving you. You have to. No. Elira, I said no. I gripped his shirt. If you die, I die. That's how this works. That's not... It is. The bond goes both ways, remember? He closed his eyes. You're going to make this really hard, aren't you? Yes, he smiled. Good. The fight was held in the arena. It was an ancient stone circle in the center of Silver Peak, surrounded by tiered seating. By the time we arrived, it was packed. Wolves from every territory, hundreds of them. They cheered, they howled, they placed bets. I felt sick. Kael walked into the center of the arena. Ragnar was already waiting. He was massive in wolf form, scarred and battle-worn, with eyes like chips of ice. Kael shifted. Even injured, even exhausted, he was magnificent. Larger than Ragnar, faster, stronger. But Ragnar was experienced, ruthless. This wasn't going to be easy. A horn sounded, and they attacked. It was brutal. Ragnar fought dirty, going for Kael's injured ribs, his throat, his legs. Kael dodged, countered, struck back. They moved like lightning, like death. Blood splattered the stone. I couldn't breathe. Senna grabbed my hand. He's got this. He's hurt. He's survived worse. Not against someone like that. Ragnar landed a vicious bite on Kael's shoulder. Kael yelped and stumbled. The crowd roared. No, 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 no. But Kael didn't go down. He spun and raked his claws across Ragnar's face. Ragnar howled in pain. Kael pressed the advantage, driving him back, blow after blow. And then, in one fluid motion, he pinned Ragnar to the ground, jaws around his throat. The crowd went silent. Kael could kill him. One bite. That's all it would take. But he didn't. He shifted back. Human. Bloodied. Breathing hard. Yield, he commanded. Ragnar shifted too. Never. Then I'll kill you. Do it. Kael's jaw tightened. I'm not my father. I don't rule through fear. Then you'll die through mercy. Ragnar lunged, human teeth aiming for Kael's throat. But Kael was faster. He sidestepped, grabbed Ragnar and slammed him into the ground. I said yield! Ragnar spat blood. I yield! The crowd erupted. Kael stood. He looked up at the crowd, at the hundreds of wolves watching him. I am Kael Thornheart, he said, voice carrying across the arena. Son of Aldrich, rightful Alpha King, and I reclaim my throne. Silence. Then, one by one, the wolves bowed. Even Ragnar. Kael had won. I ran to him the second the arena cleared. He caught me, pulling me into his arms. You did it, I breathed. We did it. I didn't do anything. You gave me a reason to win. I pulled back to look at him. What happens now? Now. He smiled. Now we rebuild. The coronation happened that night. It was an ancient ceremony, older than the packs themselves. Kael stood in the great hall, dressed in traditional wolf regalia. Dark leather, silver chains, a crown made of bone and moonstone. He looked every inch a king, and I stood beside him, as his mate, his queen. The pack elders blessed us, marked us with sacred symbols, and when it was over, Kael turned to me. Ready? He asked. For what? To rule a kingdom. I laughed. I have no idea what I'm doing. Neither do I. Then we'll figure it out together. Together. He kissed me, and the hall erupted in cheers. Chapter 9. The Queen's Choice. Being queen was overwhelming. I went from having nothing, no home, no family, no future, to suddenly ruling over thousands of wolves. It was insane. The first week was chaos, meetings, disputes, challenges. Every pack had a grievance. Every wolf had an opinion. And I had no idea what I was doing. You're doing fine, Kael said one night as we collapsed into bed. I sentenced someone to exile today, and I'm not even sure what they did. He laughed. You'll get the hang of it. Will I? Yes. He pulled me close. You're stronger than you think. I wanted to believe him, but not everyone was happy about my new role. 3 weeks into our reign, a delegation from the southern packs arrived, led by a woman named Rhea. She was beautiful, elegant, and the second she looked at me, I knew she hated me. So, she said, studying me like I was an insect, this is the human who stole our king. I didn't steal anyone, I replied. Didn't you? She smiled. You're not pack-born. You have no wolf blood, no training, no right to sit beside him. Kael's hand tightened on mine. She's my mate. That gives her every right. Convenient, Rhea said. A mate bond that appeared just when you needed legitimacy. Watch yourself, Kael warned. Or what? You'll exile me too? She looked at me. Tell me, little human, what do you know about ruling wolves? About pack law? About the sacrifices required to keep our people safe? I swallowed. I'm learning. Learning. She laughed. How quaint. Kael stood. This meeting is over. Not quite. Rhea's eyes glittered. I'm here to issue a formal challenge. My stomach dropped. A challenge to what? To your right to rule as queen. According to ancient law, any wolf may challenge the king's mate if they believe her unworthy. That's an outdated law, Senna interjected. No one's used it in centuries. Which makes it legally binding. Rhea smiled. So, little human. Do you accept? Kael stepped between us. She doesn't have to. Yes, I said. I accept. Everyone froze. Kael turned to me. Elira, no. I'm not hiding behind you, Kael. If she wants to challenge me, let her. You'll lose. Maybe, but I have to try. Rhea's smile widened. How brave. We fight tomorrow, in the arena. Winner takes the crown. And then she left. You can't do this, Kael said the moment we were alone. I have to. You're human, Elira. She'll kill you. Then help me not die. This isn't a joke. I know it's not. I grabbed his shoulders. But if I don't fight, they'll never respect me. They'll always see me as the weak human who hides behind her wolf king. I can't live like that. He closed his eyes. I can't lose you. You won't. You don't know that. Then teach me. You have one night. Teach me how to fight. He stared at me. You're insane. You've mentioned that before. He laughed. It was broken and desperate. Fine, but we do this my way. Deal. We trained all night. Kael taught me how to dodge, how to read an opponent, how to exploit weaknesses. You're not going to win with strength, he said. So you win with speed, with unpredictability. I'm not fast. You're faster than you think. He moved. I dodged. Again, and again, and again. By dawn, I was exhausted, bruised, but better. You're ready, Kael said. Am I? No, but you're as ready as you'll ever be. Comforting. The arena was packed again. Rhea stood in the center, already shifted, a sleek silver wolf with cold eyes. I stepped into the ring, human, unarmed. The crowd murmured, What is she doing? She can't shift. She's going to die. Kael stood at the edge. You don't have to do this. I looked at him. Yes, I do. The horn sounded. Rhea charged. I dove left. Her jaws snapped inches from my leg. I rolled, grabbed a handful of dirt and threw it in her face. She snarled, blinded. I ran. The crowd jeered. But I didn't care. Kael's voice echoed in my mind. Use the environment. Use everything. There was a loose stone at the edge of the arena. I grabbed it. Rhea recovered and charged again. I waited. Waited. Then threw. The stone hit her square in the eye. She yelped and stumbled. I ran at her and slammed into her side. We went down together. She shifted back, hissing. You little! I punched her. Hard. My knuckles screamed. But she reeled back. I didn't stop. I hit her again and again until she stopped moving. The arena went silent. I stood, panting, hand throbbing. Do you yield? I asked. Rhea spat blood. I yield. The crowd erupted. I'd won. Kael ran to me the second the fight ended. You're insane, he breathed. You've mentioned that. You could have died. But I didn't. He kissed me, hard, desperate. Don't ever do that again. Can't promise that. He laughed. I love you. The words hit me like lightning. What? I love you, Elira. I've loved you since the moment you walked into that cabin. Tears blurred my vision. I love you too. He kissed me again, and the crowd cheered. Chapter 10. The King and His Queen. 6 months later, Silver Peak was thriving. Kael had reformed the pack laws, ended the blood feuds, created councils so every territory had a voice. And I'd found my place. I wasn't just a queen in title. I was an advocate, a voice for those who couldn't speak. The humans living among wolves, the orphaned pups, the forgotten. It wasn't the life I'd imagined. It was better. One night, Kael and I stood on the balcony of the Great Hall, watching the moon rise over the mountains. "Do you ever miss it?" he asked. "Your old life?" I thought about it. Sometimes. It was simpler. Simpler doesn't always mean better. No, it doesn't. He pulled me close. Any regrets? Only one. What? I smiled. I wish I'd kissed you sooner. He laughed. Me too. We stood there, wrapped in each other, the bond humming between us like music. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For not running. For staying. For loving me even when I didn't deserve it. I turned to face him. You deserve everything, Kael. Every bit of happiness, every moment of peace. So do you. Then let's take it. Together. Together. He kissed me, and I realized something. I'd spent my whole life searching for a place to belong. Turns out, I'd found it. Not in a place, but in a person. In a king who was supposed to be my enemy. In a wolf who became my everything. In a love that defied every rule. And I wouldn't change a single second. Epilogue. 2 years later, I stood in the same arena where I'd fought Rhea. But this time, I wasn't fighting. I was presenting our daughter to the packs. She was beautiful, tiny, with Kael's silver eyes and my dark hair. The crowd cheered as Kael held her up, pride radiating from him. Her name is Lyra, he announced. In honor of the woman who taught me that love is worth the risk. I wiped tears from my eyes. Our daughter would grow up in a world we built. A world without endless war. A world where human and wolf could coexist. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. Kael looked at me, eyes soft. Ready for the next adventure? I laughed. With you? Always. He kissed me, and our daughter giggled. The crowd erupted in cheers, and I thought, This is what fate looks like. Not a destiny forced upon you, but a choice. A choice to love, to fight, to stay. And I'd make that choice 1,000 times over. The end. So that's their story. A human and a king. A bond that defied the odds. A love that conquered kingdoms. What did you think? Did it move you? Make you believe in fate? Drop a comment and let me know which moment hit you hardest. Was it the first kiss? The arena fight? The moment Kael said, I love you? And if this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and share it with someone who loves epic romance. Subscribe for more tales that'll make you feel everything. Until next time, may you find your own impossible love, and may you be brave enough to fight for it.